Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Crate Selection Show 2026 right here inside the Crate-Nasium Hall. I'm the Commissioner CMC, and I'll be with you for the next 20 or so minutes. We're going to find out who's dancing, who's on the same team, who they're playing against, and what the seeds all are. We're going to have 8 teams here, and we're going to find it out in a bit of a dramatic fashion, but stick with me. Crate Madness 2026. This is my favorite time of the year. It really is. March, April. Man, when you're filling out brackets, yeah. Anyway, these are going to be your automatic qualifiers. That's to say, players who, whatever happens, they're in this tournament. They already know that. They're not sitting on the edge of their seat, per se. And the qualifications are... You had to have either been a top 10 ranked player as of last week or won one of our qualifying tournaments to be on this list. And these 3 right here, Jaden Maxwell, Jet Maxwell, and Jackson Winicky, I'm going to call attention to them because they just went on a run during the Crate qualifiers. Beat every team they faced by at least 15 points. The competition was a little wavering at points, but that's going to be an exciting group of players to watch, despite being a little low in the rankings at the moment. Otherwise, these are names you guys all know and love. The pillars of the sport. Top 10 ranked players throughout their career. They're in this tournament. Now, this is where it really starts to get interesting. These are your players, we're going to call them at-large bids. They're on the edge of their seat. They don't know if they've got a spot in this tournament or not, and they're going to find out. So that's going to be Luke Hurl, Eli Kim, Zach Tressler, Carter Townsend, Bradley Matthews, Cam Schoen, Brick Buckman, Gabe Thompson, Owen Maloney, Sean Teplick, Shane Bauer, and Dylan Holman. Those are the players we're pulling from. And 4 of those players, only 4, this was a tough decision, it really was. The committee had their work cut out for them, that's for sure. This is a good group of players, and I'd like to analyze it for just a second. Luke Hurl, one of the most athletic kids who plays in Crate. I want to say it's been about a year since he stepped on the court, but when you team him up with guys who know what they're doing, he's dangerous. He hits threes like nobody's, he hits threes. That's what he does. Eli Kim, one of the most athletic people I've ever met. That's true. He jumps out the gym. He's a big motherfucker. Carter had his moments. He had his moments during the qualifier. He could be interesting if he gets the right teammate. Bradley Matthews, he's D1, right? Cam Schoen. I want to call attention to Gabe and Owen. These are 2 guys, they didn't win the qualifiers. They went against some tough competition. But what they did do is upset on paper, much better team in Ben and Reese Leader. They went in there, they competed with them the whole time, and quite frankly, they were the more physical team, and that's what won them the game. And people are calling that, I've called it myself, the greatest upset in Crate history. So you wonder if the committee respected that here. Sean Teplick, this is a dude who loves Crate through and through. It's in his blood. All right. Shane Bauer, that's an NIT winner. Dylan Holman as well, I believe. So there's a lot of talent on this list and only 4 spots to go around. So let's move on. Little ground rules here. It's a single elimination tournament. We're gonna have 8 teams. The teams are of 2, with the exception of a couple teams that needed to have a 3rd player to make some of the scheduling work, which is because, of course, this is held over multiple days at multiple locations, starting this Saturday, and ranging over spring break. So you needed, for some of these kids, some of these teams, you needed to have 3 players to make that work. And since this is a single elimination tournament and the first of its kind for Crate basketball, we're going to increase for the first time ever the time in the halves to 8 minutes. which we tried out during last year's All-Star game to good success. Scoring went up. Defense stayed, and physicality, as long as the timeouts were used, stayed about the same, which you like to see. And that's just what we did. We increased the timeouts to 3 per game, up from the usual 2 per game. And what we're hoping to see, at least from a rules standpoint, is players using these timeouts and staying 100% so they can play well on the defensive side of the ball. We're gonna get right into the bracket here for you. I'm sorry to ruin the suspense, but your number 1 seed in the tournament, I'm gonna move you up here. That's Jackson Downs and Colin Doyle, one of the most exciting teams I can think of. And as far as championship potential goes, you've got 3 from Jackson Downs in his career, of course, with his brother as Coastal Carolina back in the day, and Colin Doyle, the number 1 ranked player in Crate right now. This is going to be an interesting team, and it's not one we've seen before. And then in the 8 seed slot, it's going to be DPD and Mill. That's Devin Doyle and Luke Hurl. That's going to be an interesting team. On paper, they're more athletic, and they've had success. So it's interesting to see them fall into the 8 seed spot here. This is going to be an interesting matchup, especially with the brotherly love going on here. We're going to send it in. We got live reaction from Devin Doyle. He seems pretty happy, don't you think? Oh, we're still live. Now, I don't know about you, those don't look like guys who are satisfied with their 8 seed spot. I think they're going to go in there with a mindset that says, we're going to shock the world here. The underdog mindset. They're going to go right at the 1 seed. I think, honestly, I don't think the seeds matter to them. I think they know what they're capable of as a squad. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and dare I say an upset alert right here, right now. All right, let's get into the next spot. Your 5 seed is going to be Carter, Eli Kim, and Zach Tressler. So 3 of the spots right there of our 4, they're filled. We're going to go Carter, Eli, and Zach as at-large bids. And then they'll be playing against Aiden and Wyatt Tressler. That's an interesting team. They had a run in, I believe it was Crateness. They had a good run in Crateness. One of the best 3-point shooting teams probably ever. They went to the perimeter, had success passing the ball around, wearing out other teams, especially with that tournament being a little on the longer side. Their size is going to be interesting in this matchup because obviously they're going to be the undersized team. But you think that with the longer halves, the 3-point shooting might help them take down the big guys here. And of course, they are the higher seed after all. I don't know why I'm talking about them like an underdog. So 3 of your at-large bids go off the table here. And then we got a reunion on the 4 seed here. It's going to be an interesting team. All right. On your 3 versus 6 seed matchup, it's going to be Logan and Jackson Winicky versus myself, Dylan Schoen, and Sean Welch. Logan and Jackson, obviously one of the most talented teams we've seen probably ever. Jackson Winicky jumps out the gym. He's going to be one of the bigger players in the tournament as far as strength goes. And Logan, although he hasn't had much success, he has no rings. He's, I believe, only been to a final 1 time. Not too many accolades going on there, but I mean, with this kind of talent on this team, this might be the one to break through. With myself and Sean, we had a great run about a year ago. I want to say it was Crateness 2024, or 2024, that's right. Where we took down a really good Colin UPRM team, pretty much in his prime. So that's going to be an interesting throwback. We haven't played together since. Sean Welch, you know, you can't fix team morale, right? Team chemistry, fantastic. We got a live look in here at Logan and Jackson. I'd imagine they're pretty happy about that team. I think they got a pretty good matchup there. We're gonna finish off the bracket right here, right now. All right, on your 7 seed slot, you got Chig and Bradley Matthews. That's gonna be one of the most, let's say, interesting teams I've ever seen. Chig, obviously, a perennial contender in the NIT and has had his fair share of classic success as well, I should say. And Bradley, one of the most athletic players to ever step on the court for a career. You don't know what to expect from them, though. It's tough to project these kids that have never played. So it's going to be interesting. And they're getting thrown right to the fire here, I have to say. Jaden and Jet Maxwell. This is a team that's going to have fantastic chemistry right from the start. They're going to be building off their success they've had in the Crate qualifiers. And you have to think they're poised to make a great run in this tournament. So your bracket. That's the bracket. Bradley's your last at-large team. Or player, I should say. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's analyze the bracket a little bit. I don't know if you can see me. Starting back up here, we analyzed this a little bit, but Jackson Downs and Colin. This is going to be a team, I think they're a little overseeded here, but I like the matchup for them. I think it's going to be competitive, but I still think they're the better team on paper. So I like them moving on to the second round there. And they'll run in, this game's going to happen on, I believe, this is the only first round game that won't be happening on Saturday. So Colin's team will have a little bit of time to relax if they make it through that first challenge against Devin and Luke. But anyway, coming back to this one, I have to think, you're putting in the 5 seed there with Carter, Eli, and Zach, you're putting kids who know each other, but they don't know Crate. And there has never been a brand new player to ever make it even to a final appearance in Crate basketball. So you're putting 3 of them right here, with the exception of Carter, he played during the qualifiers. You're putting a team of relatively new kids to the Crate Basketball League, all on the same team. And I think that's a recipe for disaster, quite frankly. I think Aiden and Wyatt are going to build on what they did during Crateness, and they're going to get through to the second round here. Moving on to the 3 versus 6 seed matchup. Logan and Jackson. This is going to be one of the most interesting teams to watch. They're going to be good team chemistry-wise. I really like having the guard and the forward look there. You're having an athletic guard and a forward who can fight with the big guys down low, but also make some threes up top. They're going to be able to spread the floor if needed, and also kind of collapse if the game comes to them. But you're talking about the biggest man in Crate right here, and that can't be understated. When you put the best shooter on the court with the biggest guy on the court, you're gonna have success. And that's why I like me and Dylan Schoen to move on to the second round here, pulling off the upset. I think it's gonna be a dangerous underseeded match here. And moving on to the 7 versus the 2. I'm really excited by that Chig and Bradley team. I think they could be special if they hit the ground running. But like I mentioned, that's very difficult to do. Jaden and Jet, building off their momentum. They've played together before. I like their chances. I'm going to have them moving on to the second round there too in my little bracketology here. So moving back up here, we had the 1 seed and the 4 seed winning. Why overthink it, right? Jackson Downs, Colin Doyle, 1 team. These are guys who have had success. They know what it feels like to win. They've been there since the OG days. they're going to be a tough out, no matter how you cut it. I like Jackson and Colin to move on to the finals there. Coming back up here, the I had the 6 moving on here, and I had the 2 moving on. Like I mentioned, Jaden and Jed, they're a team that excites me. I think it's going to be really tough to beat a great shooter like Jed and somebody who can spread the floor like Jaden. He can move really well for his size, and that's going to be trouble. But he's never seen Dylan Schoen. What can I say? When you put the best shooter and the biggest guy in crate on the same team, you're going to get what you're going to get. I like myself and Dylan Schoen to move on to the finals. Huge upset. Huge. I know. It could happen. Okay. Colin and Jackson versus myself and Schoen. That's my final here. I mean, Colin Doyle. What can you say, right? He's one of the greatest players in crate history. But you know who else is one of the greatest players in crate history? Yeah, I'm talking about Sean Welch. You forget about him. I haven't mentioned him. He's the 3rd player on this team. But you think about players who have won 2 crate classics. Man, that's Colin, that's Jackson, that's Sean Welch, right? So you put him on the team here. He has experience clutching up in the finals. What can I say? So I like it. I like what I'm seeing here. And I know Jackson and Colin are really good. I do. But I'm going to pick myself, Dylan Schoen, and Sean Welch to win the championship. From the 6th seed slot, after having playing the 1, 2, and the 3 seed on the way to the championship. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you know the great thing? You can make the bracket however you want. And you can do that because, oh, that's not the link I thought it was going to show up. I'm going to link it in the description. We're going to have a link. You can fill out your own bracket. Join the bracket challenge for Crate Madness as long as you submit it before Saturday. And if you make a perfect bracket, I will be sending a crate memorabilia package your way. Yeah, you might like it. It's possible. Maybe. All right, Crate Madness 2026. You have your bracket. Now that's all left to do is dance.